I've been with the Colts for over 16 years, and I started out in the community relations department, which is kind of the philanthropic arm of the organization. And for years, I would plan and execute, visits to the Simon Cancer Center. It was always something that, I had worked on from a work perspective, but it was not necessarily something that I ever thought, oh, what if I ever got breast cancer? So to say that my diagnosis was a surprise is probably an understatement. The IU Simon Cancer Center was the third phone call that I made. I didn't want to be anywhere else. I knew that what we were dealing with was literally a life or death matter. And knowing the kind and caring, compassionate, and brilliant people that were there, there was no question in my mind that that's where I needed to be.
So when I first met Stephanie, what I knew is that she had triple-negative breast cancer. And triple-negative breast cancer is an aggressive form of breast cancer that often impacts young women. Our next step was thinking about a lot of chemotherapy. And with chemotherapy, there become a lot of concerns, specifically related to the side effects that she's going to encounter. So as we were embarking on chemotherapy, we did some additional testing to understand whether or not Stephanie would be at increased risk from inheriting a mutation from mom or dad. And indeed, she was found to have a mutation in BRCA1. This mutation now threw a wrench into things because not only are we dealing with the tumor currently at hand, but we're also dealing with what's going to happen down the road. She would now be at increased risk for other breast cancers or other tumors like ovarian cancer. But importantly, this also now has implications for her extended family. So this could mean an increased risk of cancer for her family members who may also have carried that BRCA1 mutation.
When you go through cancer, I don't care what kind of cancer it is. It could be a kind of cancer that's got a 98% survival rate. You think about the what ifs, and I remember thinking about, what if I can't be there to watch my kids get married and to watch them graduate from high school? And that's a really tough thing to think about when you're a 37-year-old. But, because of research and because of amazing doctors and because of the IU Simon Cancer Center and because of God's plan for my life, I really believe I'm going to be there for all of those moments. And you just can never put into words just what that means.
Every advance that we have ever had and all of the major blockbusters that we have in our toolbox today are the result of an idea that made its way to a trial that ultimately changed the way we think about treating our patients. Without support to make those ideas reality, we would not be where we are today.
So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how are you feeling? And one of the words that always kind of pops into my head and that I keep going back to is thankful for the doctors, the researchers, the donors who have invested so much in making sure that research continues to evolve. I'll never forget Coach Pagano. One of the things that he always talked about was no one fights alone. And so I would say to anyone that's given, thank you, because it brings hope that maybe by the time my daughter graduates from college and has to think about genetic testing, maybe she won't have to think about a double mastectomy, and she won't have to think about some of the severe things that my family and my sisters and I have had to think about. And that gives me a lot of hope. And so I think at the end of the day, I'm just thankful to be here, but also thankful about the future and what that holds for my family.